Hey guys, and welcome back to Plague of Shadows for a level we all know and love, the stranded ship. It's time to take on Polar Knight.
Yeah, I know you in particular are very glad to be visiting this place once again.
It haunts my dreams, although I will say, I find it easier to maneuver through it than I did with Shovel Knight, whose, let's say, his relics weren't really suited, for the most part, to tackling all the gaps and many spikes. I mean, you have the Phase Locket, but you don't really have burst jump, so to speak, and I do love me a burst jump.
Yeah, the mobility of Plague Knight really does help with this area. Also, I didn't get this with the Plague Knight, but I am actually really loving the opulent armor you have going on here, because he is just having a grand old time. Look at him, he's just so happy.
Yeah, instead of like walking normally, he now has like a skipping thing for his walk cycle. It's pretty great. Also, he has a little more skip to his step than usual.
So here's my question. Plague Knight has this armor, and Shovel Knight obviously has a version of this armor. I could presume that Spectre Knight will have a version of this armor. What is King Knight gonna get? Is he gonna become so fabulous that the screen will be unable to contain it?
Yeah, they could even turn it into an Arcana of sorts, like a screen nuke. That would be great, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, he's so swag that everything blows up because they cannot deal with it. That would be great, actually.
Oh, good stuff. And if you ever see a green coin embedded in the wall, that is your cue to blow up said wall and enter the special areas.
Well, now, you don't necessarily need a coin to blow something up. As we know, Plague Knight is quite adept and quite happy to just blow shit up, period.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what kind of denomination is stuck in the wall of a given house. It's gonna get blown to smithereens, I'm sorry.
Now that was a good trick back there, because I did not use the smoke bomb that much, and I actually did that jump meaty, like I do it without the invincibility, but sending it out first was actually a good idea that I definitely have to try next time.
Well, unlike the Phase Locket, you don't really seem to get any invincibility frames while you use it, so you do have to kind of think ahead. I may be taking that completely wrong. That's the impression I got from it. Like you, I mostly tend to stick to the Arcanas I felt comfortable with.
What I noticed back there was that you sent it out and you did not have to stay in the cloud. Like, you were going through it, obviously, at a quick rate. But, you were able to just kind of jump in there and have the invincibility carry over, which I thought was a useful effect.
Yeah, it may be that when you're outside of the cloud, it has like a shorter time limit to it, because I've died so many times on areas like this, just trying to, skim the edge of the cloud and get onto the spikes and run over before it runs out. So, I don't know, just like play around with it, see if it works for you. You don't have to use every Arcana, they're just there to help make the game easier for you.
That's true, and it really does depend on your individual playstyle. That skip is not helping his case, though, I gotta say.
Why? He's happy. Doesn't Plague Knight deserve a bit of happiness? Doesn't Plague Knight get a lick?
I guess. Like, what are you talking about in terms of the lick? Oh, is it like in Digimon, does he only get, like, the crust instead of the actual pizza?
Well, I was actually making a Simpsons reference with Gil. Go on, you've ruined it all now. It's done. This commentary's over.
That's true, I have ruined it, because you've actually quoted something that most people will know. Meanwhile, I quoted an anime that only kids of the 90s, well, hey, you remember this show, guys?
Ugh, yeah, card captors, good shit, give me ad revenue.
Man, I watched a bit of Card Captors, and apparently the dub was butchered so badly, and it was so edited and so messed up, it's actually kind of astonishing. I could explain, if you want.
You might as well, mate, but first and foremost, I have to explain this. You remember the rainbow platforms from Shovel Knight's campaign, right?
Oh, I can clearly see you not giving a fuck about that, because you can just use his burst jump to get over shit.
Well, the game doesn't really give a fuck about them anymore, because without some kind of, like, melee weapon to easily push them forward, you don't have to use them anymore. The game just basically decides, oh, they'll go up and down, but you can't create platforms with them anymore. I think it's just because, they had to account for the slight delay, between each one of Plague Knight's bombs.
I think I actually used bombs to knock it forward. Like, I think I actually rode the platforms, but I can't give you any specifics.
Well, specifics or not, mate, I honestly think you're wrong there. They only go up and down.
Well, the only specific thing I can tell you is that stuff died and it was highly explosive. At the very least, I can get away with telling you that.
How did you tackle this level? How did the stranded ship fare you as the asinine alchemist himself?
Is he really Asinine? I don't know. Anyway,
I just wanted to use words that had A at the beginning. Okay, go on, give us your tale.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, you know, again, since I knew about this layout beforehand and I knew the kind of stuff I was going to run into, I was able to kind of have a better plan of attack when going in as Plague Knight. Very gutsy, by the way. I never broke those because I was always, you know, paranoid about that kind of thing. But
retakes.
Well, fair enough. But at the same time, you know, like, because I was able to kind of understand what was going on, and because I felt his angle attack really kind of helped, especially with dealing with those wolves that like to charge forward, which gave me a huge trouble in like the original run of this. I actually did not really I don't remember having that hard of a time with Polar Knight's level, or Polar Knight himself, as you know.
This Arcana is actually pretty handy. Damages enemies on contact without getting knocked back. There are some areas of the game where they just love to knock you back into picks, so now we have something to tip the scales, to even the odds, as it were.
Oh yeah, like there are some areas, especially in the stage that cannot be named yet.
Yeah, TM.
Like that one in particular, where you can just kind of run through sections. And I think there's actually a section coming up in this stage where you can actually use the Berserker's Brew and just kind of gun through it real fast, which is very helpful.
Did you ever take a swig of it throughout your initial run of the game?
Oh yeah, I've definitely used it. Mostly in like, again, the one time I would have to say throughout my run of Plague of Shadows where I used the most Arcanas were the last levels, because most of them were platforming death traps, and using all the various Arcana was, you know, helpful in getting past particular areas, dodging spikes in certain way, things like that. So that's when I was actually experimenting the most, I found.
This is a very tricky shot to make, but fortunately there's just enough room to burst by if you don't want to try and take that guy out.
And if you don't want to aim more manually, you can always use the hover casing, the sentry one that is, in order to kind of heat seek them, which I remember using for a lot of the game, and it was actually pretty helpful for those really tricky shots.
What are these guys doing exactly? Like, try to rebuild the ship? I never got that.
Well, they're wasting tools, because they throw out like 50 hammers an hour. You know how much those cost? Nothing, because we steal those, but it's still wasting them.
It costs my soul. It weighs heavily, just stealing appliances and such.
I am sure that Plague Knight or Polar Knight care about that. Is Polar... Well, I mean, no, you know, I bring that up. Like, what would you say, like, I guess, you know, like, Plague Knight would steal stuff. I don't really see Polar Knight as the kind of guy who would just straight up steal shit. I think, like, you know, his big deal with Shovel Knight was like, you know, like, this is the way of the land, this is what's gonna happen. Like, you should join us, bro, it's really cool. So, you know, no, obviously I'm not trying to make a cool pun here, but at the same time, he just doesn't really strike me as that kind of guy who would steal things or really even do a lot of villainous stuff. I think he just fights dudes, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, he follows the strongest, I believe. I'm surprised Polar Knight didn't win a spot as a playable character, because there's clearly stuff going on in the background. Hell, you could even have like a prequel part of Shovel Knight 2, a potential Shovel Knight 2, which deals with Polar Knight's backstory.
Well, I think the main problem with using Polar Knight as a character is that he is huge. Like, they would have to redraw the sprite to get him to be at that size. Plague Knight works because he's about as tall as Shovel Knight. I know in one of the posts they said they kind of adjusted his height a little bit.
Yeah, they
in
did.
order for him to fit with the areas. And they did that with Spectre Knight, and they're going to do that with King Knight as well. Polar Knight, I think, would have been too drastic, so that's why they didn't go with that.
It's completely different to when you fought him as Shovel Knight. It's a little bit better, I think.
There, he's getting the tonics now, even though he's not going to use them.
Here we go. It's time for the first usage of the cluster.
Ah, yes. And not even that context that I was expecting you to say that in.
Yeah, I'm not listening to you, mate. Fuck off.
No, I can't hear you. My helmet covers my ears.
Oh, wow. Straight to the point. I like it.
Magic is just a trick that knights use to make themselves stronger.
Ad revenue, please. Okay, let's get to it.
Oh, okay, we can have a little bit of fun. Oh, no, you want to kill each other. I'm sorry.
Oh, the cluster powder. Look at that, one pip gone already.
Yeah, it's definitely useful, that kind of thing. And fortunately, Polar Knight sets himself up fairly often too, and because he's so big, like, he will easily take most of the brunt of the Cluster Powder's explosion effect. So again, I did not really have trouble with Polar Knight. I found him even slightly easier, I would say, than Shovel Knight, because I don't even have to get him close to fight him.
Yeah, there we go, done dusted. I love how he spins his cane when you're wearing this armor, it's great. So is he dead? He's very clearly buried in the snow over there.
I think we took his Pokemon type, you know, based on the look of it.
Oh, he'll come back with an Alola form, it's fine.
Oh, okay. You know, that's where, you know, he shaves the beard, that's his Alola form.
There you go.
Baby, I got this suit for you, why won't you love me?
You could have me for a can of Heinz tomato soup. I'm really not that hard to please. Alright, what we got here?
Crap.
You really don't like the float casing that much?
Not really, and, you know, like I said before, there's probably a good situation or two that use it, but just as a whole, I didn't really like it.
Okay. The stuff you want is coming with our next batch of upgrades, but we need 80 Cypher coins to get that.
Yeah, and if you've been missing them like you do in the playthrough, you're never gonna get that amount, son.
Boy, oh Jesus, we'll get there eventually, don't you worry. Oh, it's another one from Granny Swamp, isn't it? Yep. Don't know why I keep talking to this guy, I just keep saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess maybe Plague Knight has to check on his records. You know, he's got to get his achievement points, too.
Now, I did say I do a lot of retakes. As you saw back there, it said 9 hours so far. Obviously, that's not reflected in the playthroughs because I removed deaths and whatnot. That's why at the end it says, like, 0 deaths and whatnot.
And I remember being, like, annoyed when I got, like, 1 death in, like, a Zelda game and I didn't reset it. So now it's just on there, on my record, staining it forever.
Now, you'll see me buy a bunch of health tonics here. And, in a second, I'm going to be kicking myself, because let's just talk to Baz. After Percy.
Yeah, of course, Percy the horse, he gets more precedence.
Oh, yes, another one!
You've been waiting for these, haven't you?
I have, man. Oh, it's a repeat.
Well, this might work if you get, like, an oat cereal, or, like, do they have granola in Shovel Knight? Maybe.
500 gold, down the shitter. Thanks, Baz.
Oh, it's only 500 gold, you'll live. Yes, but we could be saving all of that for our investments.
Mountrad, get out of here.
Well, I was trying to invoke more Plague Knight there, but I guess Mountrad is a good substitute.
Alright, Black Knight round 2. Motor! Ooh, romances are brewing!
I love it when the text shakes in these boxes. I mean, it implies so much in terms of, like, the tone and how they're stressing particular words. It's a neat little touch.
Yeah, unlike in comics where they just kind of bold stuff every so often, it's a little bit obnoxious.
I knew I should have paid him in trading cards.
Oh no, we're gonna have a classic misunderstanding, aren't we?
Yeah, I hate these kind of things. I mean, they don't even, like, they can't spit it out fast enough to kind of explain what's going on, and it just kind of drags tension for a while.
Well, that kind of thing happens all the time in real life, you do realise.
I don't know. You fucking prick!
Dude, you insulted me in front of my sort of girl here.
Yeah, I think should I be angry? Yeah, I'm angry.
We're angry on his behalf. This is the internet after all.
Well, at least they gave her a walking animation. You know, in Capcom games, it would have just faded to black, and then when it appears, she's gone.
I love how he's like, yeah, you may have girl troubles, but you still have to fight me. Bring it on.
I'm going to kill you. I have a silly chuckle.
Oh, we have the cluster power this time, though, so expect it to go handily.
Other than that, you know, not too much different from the second version of the first time you fought this guy. Same bullets as before, but again, your range will help you here, and by then, you know, as we've seen, Tom has the cluster powder here, so you can easily catch Black Knight within its field of effect and hit him for pretty good damage.
I have to correct you slightly. I don't think he had the bullets in the first one. At least not as many as he does here, like spraying them to the ceiling.
That's true. I think he fired only like one bullet in like phase 1.
Yeah, I specifically remember like sending it back to him as Shovel Knight. Good times. I fucking love this boss music. It's pretty great.
That's true, and it does feel pretty good. Oh, you had a little twirl back there when you beat him. I liked it.
Yeah, I think that's another thing to do with the golden armor. It's like his turning animation as a twirl.
That is pimp. Like, that really is pimp, like his pose.
Golden Plague Knight is the best. Oh no, now it's really sad.
Yeah, good thing she kept it up so that nobody else can get inside.
Percy!
Oh, great.
I guess Percy's our replacement now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mona will not be available at this point forward to do potion duties for you until near the end of the game, I believe.
Pretty much. So Percy just takes over for everything. You don't actually lose any of the stuff that Mona, gave you.
That's true. So, I mean, it's not too bad, but, like, I don't want this motherfucker to be researching stuff using Mona's notes. I don't trust him any farther than I can throw him, but still.
Oh, you're a horse racist now, is that how it is?
No, I'm a racist against somebody who can't make catapults to save his fucking life, Tom, alright?
Well, he can make them, he just can't fine-tune them properly. Look at me go!
I don't care, I'll just dance alone. I dance alone with nobody else.
Man, don't we all just dance alone in the end?
Wasn't there a song about dancing alone? Like, legit? Like, I kind of took one song and just repositioned it.
Mangled it horribly, yes.
Yeah, that's that. Mangle is a good word.
Oh, La Danse Macabre, one of my favourite pieces of the OST.
Sort of a weird combo here between Mole Knight stuff and Spectre Knight stuff, which is odd, but it works out pretty good.
Yeah, it's aesthetically pleasing at least, and we've got the lightning in the background as well. Ooh, spooky, scary electricity.
Yeah, I know you are frightened right now.
Urgh. That's all I got. Sorry, kids.
If you want more, please insert $2 more for more commentary. So I guess this is what anybody does, when they find out your lover, or your girlfriend that you wanted to be your girlfriend and thinks you're, going out with some other girl. You just walk into a graveyard and you blow up some skeletons to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism, really.
I suppose. I mean, like, I haven't really done anything. Well, first off, I guess I'd have to get a girlfriend, then I'd have to lose her, then I'd have to have a graveyard nearby, and then I'd have to make bombs, but I think that last part is pretty easy here in Florida.
Jesus, I'd need more prep time than Batman to pull that off. Right, this is where we actually get to test out the VAT Arcana that we got earlier.
Oh yeah, like with this one you gotta do some fancy platforming here.
Thankfully, it gives you a little clue as to what Arcana you need. Don't need him anymore, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good to know that people are willing to work with Plague Knight knowing that he could blow them up at any particular moment.
It's fine, there's a pocket dimension like underneath where they stand, and when they get blown off screen, they're just sent back to the lab.
Okay, it's like Madam Web, alright. By the way, never vacation in a place called the Bottomless Quarry. It does not work.
Yeah. Not my type of ideal tourist destination, gotta be honest. I'm trying to think of like one of the stages like in the game that would be like honestly a good place to visit as a place of leisure.
I guess if you rented out the Iron Whale properly, that'd be kind of nice. Like a SeaWorld kind of attraction.
Yeah.
And the other stage that cannot be named yet. I still don't know why we're trying to not say his name.
I honestly can't remember the actual name of the flying ship, honestly.
Just the flying airship, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool. Like, it looks fancy enough, get like a hotel thing going on. It'd be fine.
Oh, we're not done yet.
There is more sections in this platforming challenge, and personally, I am offended by that.
I like my games to be as short as possible. You click, press start, boom, credits.
Yeah, personally, if I have to boot it up, that's just kind of the killer point right there. Can I just pay for the ending, please?
Oh, getting a wee bit too close to home there, I'm uncomfortable.
Well, good. I hope you fuckers are feeling nervous about this kind of shit, because this stuff is permeating your games more and more.
Oh, God. The less said about that, the better. Yes, we see you over there, whatever your name was. I've honestly forgotten. You are the most forgettable out of the Travelling Wanderers or whatever. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time when we take on Tinker Knight. Bye-bye for now.